everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is a quick tutorial of products that I have been loving recently. These are the products that I've been reaching for the last month, and I wanted to turn on the camera and share this look with you guys. Everything I use in today's video will be linked in the description box down below. This is a soft, kind of beautiful summer springy look, and I thought it would be fun to share with you guys. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight into the tutorial. So I've already applied my Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream. I let it absorb just for a minute. Then I've been going in with my Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Hollywood Falls filter. I have this in the shade 5.5. It's a tad bit too dark, but I feel like once summer comes, it'll be great. It's definitely a little dark. It's kind of what I'm using to tan up my face because I don't put fake tan on my face, so it works well that way. So I just blend that in. Kind of blended it down into my neck. I love the Hollywood Falls filter. It's so beautiful. If I'm having a good skin day, meaning I don't have any breakouts and my skin's looking good, I'll go ahead and go in with the Chantecaille. This is called the Future Skin Oil-Free Gel Foundation. I've been really loving this recently. I would say for the last month or so, they sent me a lighter shade. The shade that I had was Sand, and it was my summer shade, and so I really wouldn't wear this foundation during the winter as much. And recently Chantecaille was sending out this foundation in PR, and so they asked me what shade I wanted to try, and I told them, you know, that I had shade Sand. It was a little dark, so I wanted to try shade Shea. I wanted to try shade Shea. It really just goes onto the skin really pretty, and it lasts pretty good, and it's one of those foundations that feels good on the skin. But when I'm having a breakout day or I'm not as comfortable in my skin, right? You know how we have those days. Everybody has those days. Some days you wake up and your skin looks flawless and it looks good and you want to show it off. And then there's other days you wake up and you're like, yeah, no, I need to kind of start covering this situation up. So then that's when I reach for the KVD Good Apple foundation. And this is a tricky foundation. It is. The smallest amount goes the longest way. You have to be so careful because it's super full coverage and it can get cakey quick. So it's one of those, you got to be really mindful of how you're applying it. Just go in and lightly blend it. I like to apply this foundation with the BK Beauty 101. So I go in and dip like that. And I just apply it the smallest amount. Like I take that one dip and spread it as far as I can. But I love the way that my skin looks when I apply this the right way. If you go in too thick with this foundation, it's too heavy and it just doesn't look good. I've had that experience with a lot of balm. Oh, I did hit pan. Look at that. That's actually pan. I didn't realize I was going to hit pan. That's kind of the rule of thumb with balm foundations, is just making sure that you're not going in too heavy. But this one has such good coverage. And like I said, there's a trick to it. If you go in too heavy and you put too much on, it will like lay on top of the skin and it can look really cakey and it just won't look good. But when I apply the right amount of this, it looks flawless and it lasts all day. It's one of my favorite like full coverage foundations where I'm just not feeling comfortable in my skin and I'm wanting something to kind of give me a good skin day. But you can see I have a breakout here, and I have a breakout here, and I have a breakout here. So now I'm going to go in with my NARS. This is the Soft Matte Complete Concealer. I wear this in shade Medium to Ginger, and I use this to prep my eyelids. It just cancels out all the redness, kind of gives me a nice clean canvas, and I like it because it's not too drying. A thin, even layer works really well because it has good coverage, and I just don't need to go in with a lot of it. So then I like to go over it with a sponge and just make sure that I don't have any extras sitting on the skin. Then of course I set it with my Charlotte Tilbury powder. It's breaking away from here, so I can't really tip it. Let's move on to the brows. I like to take my 24-hour brow setter and I'm gonna run this through my brows. And I kind of brush it through and then kind of comb them where I want them, and then I fill in the spots that I need to fill in. So I kind of of let that dry because I can't really take a pencil and go in over top and kind of fill them in where I need to fill when the 24-hour brow setter is wet. That was a trick I learned from Mel. This was her favorite brow setter. And I remember just being a viewer, this was before, you know, she and I became friends. I remember watching a video of her doing her brows. I mean, she had the best brows. Like Mel, her brows were off the chart beautiful, just perfect every video, right? So I remember being a viewer just in awe of how beautiful her brows were. So I remember searching her channel to see if she had a brow tutorial. And in that video, she talked about the brow setter and she talked about how she runs it through over this way and then through it, and then she sets it and then lets it dry before going in with the pencil or whatever she's using. And in fact, I will link that video in the description box down below. If any of you guys want a really good brow tutorial, that video was fabulous. So I will link that video. It's a really good one. Okay, so then I have been using the Glossier brow pen because I had it on hand. I just kind of go in and fill in a little bit here at the top. Not too much because I still want to kind of see the skin. Let's go ahead and move on to eyeshadow because I like to do my eyes first and kind of get them done and then go to my face. So let's move on to the eyes. I'm going to use the Patrick Ta Major Dimension 2 palette. I've been really enjoying this color story and it's really pretty. I'm going to first go into this cream shade right here on the top and I'm going to kind of use it as a base. And then I'm going to wipe the brush off so I don't have any like remaining on the brush. And then I'm going to kind of blend it up and into the crease. Now I'm going to go into this shade right here. And I'm actually using the Patrick Ta crease brush. I recently picked it up during the Sephora sale. I'm just gonna kind of use that shade to kind of set this cream in place. And I'm not really worried about this outer corner because I'm gonna be wiping it. So I don't really worry about it. I kind of use that to blend, to be honest with you. I'm gonna take that same brush and just kind of flip it over just to make it easy. And I'm gonna mix between these two shades. And I'm gonna press it like right there on the center and then working it out. And then I'm gonna go in with my finger, mixing those two shades. And then I just go over that with a brush and just kind of blend it out a little bit. I'm gonna go into this shade and I'm gonna tap and grab a tiny bit of this. And I'm gonna go right here on this outer corner like this. Then I'm gonna clean up the outer corner. So as far as concealer goes, you guys know that I love my KVD Good Apple Concealer. This is what I love to wear on those days where I'm wanting kind of a full face of makeup. It's got good coverage, it covers really well, it wears really well. Recently, I have been kind of playing with these two. So I've been using the LA Girl Peach Corrector. And I take just a tiny bit and add it like in some of the dark spots that I have. You know, sometimes you got dark circles. It's not every day, But sometimes you got them and you got to do something about them, you know? So I love color correcting. If I'm having those days where I have that dark circle, I would rather add a tiny bit of color corrector than adding too much concealer. So on the days where I'm using a color corrector, I'm going to wear like a medium coverage concealer because I really don't need a full coverage at that point because I've used the color corrector to kind of correct the dark circles. So I've been grabbing the Kosas, I think this is called the Revealer Concealer, and I like to wipe off the applicator. I wipe off all the applicators. Whenever I put concealer on, I always wipe off the applicator. I just do, it's just kind of habit, and that ensures that I'm not putting on too much, and then I can use what's in the sponge tip to apply. So I like to put a little bit here, and of course the whole TikTok thing, I know you know, trends happen and then you try it and you're like, oh, I kind of like that. I don't know that it makes that big of a difference, but I do it anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and blend that in. And this concealer is really nice, long lasting, hydrating, looks good on the under eyes. It's a really comfortable, good concealer. I've been really enjoying this. It's one of my top concealers. You know, you have those concealers that you know are going to be dependable. You have those concealers that you know you just love. And that's how this one is. It's just a good concealer. Let's move on to the lower lash line. I'm going to go into the cream just like I did on the upper. And I feel like with the summer coming, I feel like doing the cream and powder, kind of layering the two, really allows the eyeshadow to stay put all day. Like if you're out in the sun all day, or if you're out and you're busy and it's hot in and out of air conditioning, you know how that goes. It feels like using cream and powder really locks the makeup. That's one thing that I've really enjoyed about using cream and powders together. But I'm gonna go ahead and put that cream color right underneath the lower lash line. And then I'm gonna wipe the brush off and I'm gonna go into this shade and go right over top. And now I need to fix that line. I went over a little bit too far. That's okay, I can just kind of blend it out, it's fine. Now I'm gonna take my flat brush and go into that dark shade. Kind of smoke that into this outer corner. Woo, that color's got a lot of pigment. And I'm also gonna bring that up here on the upper lash line, just to kind of darken it up. And then I'm gonna take that fluffy brush and just kind of blend everything out. Okay, I'm gonna grab the shade Intra from Hindash, and I'm gonna use this eyeliner to go right there at the base to kind of set that color and make sure that it kind of stays dark and kind of having that, again, layer of the cream and the powder together. Okay, so I'm back. Lashes are on. I'm wearing these lashes from Ardell. I love pretty much all of the Ardell Naked Lashes. Sometimes if I want a little bit more volume, I will wear the 421s. Sometimes I wear the 423s for a little bit softer of a look because they're really light. And I love the Naked Lashes from Ardell. They're my favorite. So I just went ahead and threw them on to give me a little bit of volume. And we're done. Let's move on to the face. I'm going to be using my Charlotte Tilbury contour wand. This is a Hollywood contour wand, and this is in the shade Medium Deep. These come in and out of stock all the time. Like, it's something that just never stays in stock. I am actually working on a video all about, I need to get this brush and blend this out quick. I'm actually working on a video of Charlotte Tilbury dupes, and I have been working on this for a minute. I've been buying, you know, some dupe products. I've been finding some dupe products, trying them out, and I have found some really good alternatives for some really good Charlotte Tilbury products. So that video will be coming up. I'm so excited. I only have a few more products to test before I kind of put the whole thing together, and I'm excited about it because there's some good products in there for super affordable, especially for those products that sell out all the time, like the contour wands. They're good, but they just sell out all the time. So I'm excited about that video, actually. I'm going to go in with this bronzer from Victoria Beckham Beauty. I have shade 3. It's the matte bronzing brick. I'm going to take the Nishi Pro from Sonia G, and I like to just kind of dip between both of the shades, like right in the middle. I'll go ahead and soften everything up when I powder. And now I'm gonna grab this blush from Patrick Ta. It's in the shade She's Blushing. It's one of his new shades. I love this new shade. It is so beautiful and so, oh, I love these tones. Absolutely love it. So I'm gonna take the Patrick Ta blush brush, dip into the powder, and just kind of tap it right here. Okay, and then I'm gonna go into my setting powder. Grab some of my Hourglass translucent setting powder, and I'm gonna use the Sonia G Master Face, and I'm just gonna go over and just like buff everything together. Kind of buff out all the lines, kind of setting the makeup. Now I'm gonna take my sponge and I'm gonna go into the cream and just kind of pop it over top. I am going to take my Beauty Blender, I don't even know what this is called. I can't remember what it's called. Oh, the Powder Puff. I think it's a Powder Puff, right? The Beauty Blender Powder Puff. And I'm gonna grab a little bit of my Charlotte Tilbury powder. And I'm gonna tap off on the back of my hand just to make sure I don't go in with too much. And I'm gonna press that right over top of this area and just soften it up. You can see how much it kind of softened that area. And then I'm gonna go over right here on the center of my forehead. Now I'm gonna set my makeup with the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. This is the Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. I'm gonna give it a shake, and then I have to spray it away from my face. So for highlighter, I'm gonna use the Pat McGrath Divine Rose. This is kind of that pinky, peachy kind of color, and it kind of just pulls it together. And I love the Gelée formula, so I'm gonna put a little bit of it here, a little bit of it there. Cupid's bow, because you guys know I love a Cupid's bow highlight. And sometimes I can go overboard on a Cupid's bow highlight. I mean, it kind of is my jam. Like, I feel like it needs to just be a signature of mine. I don't know, because sometimes it can be ridiculous. Like, sometimes when I'm filming and then I'm editing, I'm like, Tara, can you wipe off half the highlighter on your lip? I'm like, really, Tara? Really? I have to laugh at myself because it's ridiculous. It's probably the reason why I don't ever want to pay anybody to edit my videos. Oh, help me. Okay, let's move on to lips. So my battery died. I had to change batteries. Let's move on to the lip. I'm gonna grab the Victoria Beckham Beauty lip liner in shade 4, and I'm gonna line my lips with that. And then I'm gonna blend it out. And I'm gonna grab the shade Mistletoe from Christian Audette. This is one of my favorite shades from their line. So I'm gonna put that like right in the center. And this color goes perfect with the Patrick Ta palette. Okay, so this is the final look using some of my go-to favorite products that I've been loving recently. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Such fun, just bright, springy, summery looks. I love these. All of the products that I used in today's video, I will link in the description box down below. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me in today's video. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Love you. Bye.